What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battling content. Today's video, my first battles of the season. I know I'm a little bit late to the party here. Unfortunately, I was sent away for work last week, so I couldn't stream, I couldn't really play. I did get in a few sets, though, while at the hotel before I got back and got sick. And I got something good for y'all. When I saw the news, Toxtricity was the first thing on my list of saying, if this is a good move, I'm going to try this. Toxtricity is one of my favorite Pokemon all time. Hands down. Top 6 in the team if it was canon to be in real life. But behind this Toxtricity, I went on a PV poke and it said, it likes Jellicent as its pair, its core mate. So I built this with a double ghost backline with Dusclops because I really like it as a safe switch. And honestly, after these games, it feels like it's probably one of the best safe switches now, at least in this current iteration of the Great League meta. So let's go ahead and get into the games here, because I just wanted to feature Toxtricity. And in the first game, yes, of course, trainers, we have a ghost type with ground type coverage. And at the time, I was thinking I should probably look to try to get a shield. Dusclops can pace this thing pretty nicely. A Jellicent is what alignment I want against this opposing Shadow, not a Shadow, just Alolan Marowak. I'm so used to saying Shadow, Alolan Marowak. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and catch the Bone Club on my my Dusclops. Confusing my species now. Dusclops having that quick pacing with Hex. Every 3 Hexes is a Shadow Punch. Opponent's going to come in with a Scrafty. This feels to me like it's been a hard counter, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to lose the first game of the season, aren't I? Opponent goes for that foul play. Watch this. Dusclops with all this energy. Ice Punch. Give him the right hook, Dusclops. Now go for another one. Give him the left hook. And then we're going to go for the Ice Punch uppercut because the opponent is not going to be able to get to another move before we can let another Ice Punch loose. This thing's pacing is obscene, and I know it's not newly buffed or anything, but Furret was a high, just is everywhere. It was a high usage thing last season, so Dusclops safe switch really doesn't feel like it's going to get that much love. And it might still be a thing this season, but we don't know yet, right? So I'm going to save that Wild Charge, and in comes an Azumarill. It's like, of course, yes, they have the Azumarill in the back, but now that we've gotten the opponent's Scrafty out of the way, Jellicent can look to sweep this game as it is resisting these bubbles and forces the opponent to go for that play rough for any real damage. Ice Beam being resisted. I'm going to be over farming here. I want to try to make sure I can at least come out of this matchup close to a Surf, if not with one already loaded for the Marowak. And if I can get the shield off the opponent's Marowak here with this Surf, I have the Wild Charge ready and willing to go. As soon as the opponent shields us and coming in, Toxtricity is a very high attack stat. Generally speaking, it's going to hit like a truck, and this is no exception. Boom! Taken out. Wild Charge. I used to have a boom button, believe it or not, but it got very cumbersome to use, so I only use it when I can remember it. Of course, I forgot to put it up today, but here we are. We're already rolling. Opponent has a Nidoking, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe they have Fury Cutter, or no, is it Poison Sting? Both of those moves are buffed. I'm thinking about that as I see this, but the opponent staying in, and they just fire off an Earth Power. So I'm gonna just go for a Ice Punch here into the ground type Nidoking. Going to be doing super effective damage if it lands. Opponent looks to put up their first shield, and I'm going to look to try to get the next one, or do a bunch of damage with this Ice Punch. They do take it. Hex is doing a fair amount of damage, honestly, and I didn't mind it. Now, Lapras comes in, and this is where Toxtricity is going to have a bit of a problem. It is a poison type, so it's taking super effective from the Psy Waves, which will rip it in half. Also, I just now realized I didn't explain why I'm running Acid Spray on my Toxtricity. The initial thought was defense lowering if I need to force myself to stay in a neutral matchup or something that I can use Acid Spray, but Power-Up Punch is just as viable, maybe even better. I just figured that if I had one lead, it would also give me the opportunity to debuff an opponent's defense, which could be helpful in some cases, but either way, didn't really ever feel like I needed it, so Power-Up Punch is probably fine. Opponent's going to come in with a Hypno, and I'm trying to throw in good timing. The opponent, however, is going to swap in their Nidoking. And I'm going to go ahead and shield. This Earth Power, not something I'm worried about right now. I can shield that easy and save that energy on Jellicent. It's going to be very useful later in the match. If I can go for 2 Shadow Punches here, one will get the opponent down to a reasonably workable HP range, and then the other one would get the shield. So they decide to shield first. We're going to hit him with a Shadow Punch. Decent damage, but we're able to get to another Shadow Punch because we live on 1 HP because Dusclops is an absolute monster. And he's going for the Shadow Punch to clinch the game. Well played. Still a bit sniffly, so if you hear me being congested and sniffly, excuse me, I'm still getting over getting sick. And just to add to my... Just to add to the ghost types that I'm going to see all over the place. Now it's Dedenne. Now, I need to get a shield from this thing, right? Because Wild Charge is going to hit, take out their Dedenne. I'm still going to treat this, even though it's Spice, as any other game, and try to play it out as smartly as I can. I know this thing has nothing but nukes and an extremely high attack stat, so I'm actually going to go ahead and shield up, even shields here, but they're staying in with their Dedenne, and my pacing to Shadow Punch is going to vastly outpace their ability to get to Shadow Balls, and so the opponent now comes in with a Raikou, and I respect it. I respect a trainer who loves to run Spice. Us meta slaves, we try too hard sometimes. And in the end, it doesn't even matter. Because if I see somebody running Spice like this, they get my immediate respect. We're going to be going for a Shadow Punch. This should do a lot of damage. The opponent is debuffed. Wild Charge took their defense down. Going to get it down into a very small HP range. And the opponent comes in with Meowscarada, and it's pretty much over. I'm going to go for the Wild Charge here. Acid Spray, I don't even know if it would be enough to knock out. I genuinely don't. So I'm going to go for the Wild Charge here. Get the Meowscarada out of here. And win that game. That's a good game. Well played. Hats off, because there were tons of meta Pokemon people, you know, people running meta Pokemon down here, like in rank 1. Like, it was definitely not by any means a meta fest. Anyway, I sense the opponent trying to throw a charge move. Instead of shielding, I'm gonna go for the swap, and I catch the Psyshock on my Dusclops, and then the opponent comes in with the Ferret. And this is the biggest downside of having the Dusclops safe switch. Now, my hope here is that the opponent doesn't invest Protect Shields at any point in this matchup, and I can leave the Ferret down at an HP range where Toxtricity might be able to get a farm down. I'm going to go ahead and go for this last second Ice Punch before I go down, even though it's on alignment. I don't care. I want to get this damage in, because Toxtricity is going to have to farm the Ferret down or land this Wild Charge. I could have gone for the Acid Spray, but I was expecting them to just let this go, honestly, because they had gotten switch advantage, and now they're going to come in with Corviknight, which will soon be buffed with Air Cutter. You thought Drill Peck was going to make this thing busted. Oh my lord, what have we gotten ourselves into? The entire 90+% of the community, I think I saw, was voting for the Rookity Comde in August, which is going to be interesting, to say the least. We're going to see how Air Cutter defines this thing in the meta. By the way, I took a look. It's disgusting. Opponent's shielding up the move. I'm going to shield up theirs as well. Shadow Ball's going to do a ton of damage here to the Corviknight, put it down to a range where we might be able to do something with it. Now, I have to keep in mind, too, most of these don't run payback. So if I do have to swap into my Toxtricity at any point in time, at least I know that it will resist the charge moves, although it's still going to hit very hard because Toxtricity is made of paper. Surf, however, is going to get the shield, and we're going to swap in with Toxtricity here. The opponent brings in their Ninetales, and I'm going to overfarm just as much as I can, leaving very little HP left for that Corviknight to farm any extra energy. Throwing at the last second, Wild Charge is going to take out the Ninetales. I'm not getting to another one. Those sand attacks just ate me alive, but the opponent throws right away, not respecting the timing, trying to maybe get a denial, I don't know, but that allows us the extra Hex that we need to get this farm down, and that's going to be a good game well played. I know they had enough energy, they probably could have got to another move if they hadn't thrown right away like that, though. But still, they played it well. Sunny, Castform, another recipient of the Ember buff. I'm swapping straight to my Dusclops because I have no reason to stand against this thing and shield a Weather Ball. I would rather just take that kind of damage on my Dusclops if I can. Come back in with Jellicent later. I have two really... I mean, they're better answers, honestly, so I'm okay with that. Dusclops isn't going to fall for it, though. The opponent going for their Weather Ball. The other move that they would have, I believe, is Solar Beam. And I don't know that the opponent would be willing to full send a Solar Beam in this scenario. Although, honestly, some might. You know, I can't say anything about that. There's some people that would. But, opponent's going for another charge move. I got to make a decision. Am I going to shield this? I'm going to go for it. I have some energy here. I am very okay with just getting rid of this thing. If the opponent has answers to what I have in the back at this point, is what it is. I'm just sticking with the plan that I've made this decision to play this out. And we'll just see what happens. Gonna let this move go. I feel like this might be a decent enough range for me to farm something down with Toxtricity. Use up a shield if I need to. We're gonna go ahead and farm down with one shield and look to hope that Toxtricity and its Wild Charges are going to do some damage in the back. Let's see what the opponent's packing in their back line. It's going to be a Decidueye. That is not what I was hoping to see, but you bet You know what? I bet these wild charges are going to do some damage, and I got 2 of them. Wild charge, going to do a ton here. Going to go straight for the wild charge. Not going to throw a fast move here. I wasn't sure if they were at a move yet. Didn't want to risk it. Going to go for the wild charge. Opponent has a Politoed in the back, and this game looks to be over. They are definitely running some Spice Politoed from seasons past, but I respect it. Ember Castform, love to see it. I love watching the Castforms. I have a guy, it's actually the same guy we shoutcasted this week, doing the Shadow Fortress and the my goodness, I just recorded the video and I forgot half the team. It was Fortress Double Ghost. He's actually the dude who almost hit Legend with Castform before he pivoted to a different team. They are awesome. 5-0 to start the season off. We're getting 5-0 into a Dunsparce. This thing actually kind of core breaks my team, right? Just a single drill run will send my Toxtricity and its entire lineage packing, so I have to shield everything here. We're looking to be going 4 wild charges. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 right before the opponent would get to their next charge move. I'm going to throw my wild charge. I have 2 options here. My opponent throws on good timing or they don't. If they don't, they're going to throw right away, and they do. They give me a full acid for free. Now what I can do is I can outpace them to my next 2 moves if I need to. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are 1 more acid away from this next wild charge, and they are still 1 move away from the drill run. So if they're going to let this go, they get the shield, but I have a lot of energy. I'm probably going to pivot away out of this here. Galvantula comes in to get a little extra energy. I should have pivoted quicker in hindsight, to be honest. And unfortunately, because I'm slow, my opponent's able to go for a charge move. They go on 4 here, which was interesting. Lunge is going to do resisted damage, but drop my attack stat, which is not comfortable. But the opponent's shielding anyway, and then they're going to come in with Gliscor, and that is fine. Ice Punch on this Gliscor is going to do a ton of damage. I'm not going to be able to one-shot it by any means, right? Not only are we not a Shadow, but the opponent is also, they got the attack debuff. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to get a full farm downer either because of that. But we're going to come in with the Jellicent, look to absorb some energy before I start talking myself into a absolute pile of shambles. Shambolific. The opponent going for a Night Slash and gets the boost. I think they're running Wing Attack. I can't tell. I assumed at first they were on Sand Attack or Fury Cutter, and now watching this back, it's kind of hard to tell. But we're going to be able to go for 2 Hexes and then the Surf, and that should be enough to take out the opponent's Galvantula. Good game. Well played. Next game up, Toxtricity, looking for redemption here against Dedenne. It's beautiful to see this. I love it when the opponents stay in. They have no idea what to do against Toxtricity, which is one of the things that was really fun. I did see several Dedenne leads with this team, and only a few of them actually swapped out. It was fantastic. And I need to keep that off of Jellicent anyway. So I'm going to be going in with my own Dusclops here after getting that shield. I can get to my Shadow Punches pretty quickly here. And I'm assuming that the opponent, not being a Shadow, or not being a Purified, I should say, I would expect them to have Shadow Punch, Ice Punch, much like myself here. So we're going to be going for Shadow Punches here. I'm going to see if I can either get this thing down low, shield, switch, anything like that. I'm really looking to go for the Shadow Punch, but unfortunately, I lose Charge Attack priority, which means the opponent will be able to get their charge move off first. Shadow Punch not going to be enough, though. We're leaving ourselves with very little farm for whatever comes in next, unless the opponent decides they're going to shield this, and they don't. They're going to take the shield disadvantage. In comes a Gligar. Are we going to be able to get to the Ice Punch? The Dusclops going down with an Ice Punch loaded, but we've got Surf Jellicent in the back to take care of this Gligar. The opponent might be packing Night Slash, but most of them have Aerial Ace and Dig. The opponent's going to go for that Dig, going to do a sizable amount of damage. We are going to go ahead and bring Toxtricity straight back in and start shredding with Acid Toxtricity. Parabolic Charge going to raise the opponent's defense. I'm finally finding a reason to use Acid Spray, even though honestly Power Up Punch would do just as well here. Opponent is also going to let that go. Acid Spray does abysmally low damage. It's a bad move. What can I say? It's like Bubble Beam. They do no damage, but we are going to be able to leave with a charge move. This Wild Charge not going to be doing a whole lot though, unfortunately. And since the opponent's got Fury Cutter, they're going to get a nice farm out of this. I'm going to go straight into my Jellicent. We've already got the Surf, and I've got 2 of them loaded. Opponent going to be able to get a charge move off, but it's not going to be enough. We saw how much damage that Dig did earlier, and we're going to be able to get the back-to-back Surfs here, as the opponent most likely does not have 2 charge moves from the amount that they've farmed up. We're going to find out. Opponent not having it. They're going to be going and taking the Surf on the chin. Jealous at taking him out. Good game. Well played. Next game up, we're going to have Toxtricity saying hello to a ground type in Whiscash. And, well, the go battle leads taketh, and the go battle leads giveth. And in that case, they decided to taketh away from me a good lead by showing a Whiscash. Now, if I can get switch advantage here, I think I need to. The opponent going for an early shield makes me more comfortable about going for an early shield as well. We're also going to win the pacing advantage war here very nicely, getting to our moves every 9 turns. The opponent, I don't remember the exact counts for Weather Ball Ember as it is right now, but I'm assuming it's either 5-4 or 6-5 or 5-5 or something like that. But anyway, we should be able to outpace this Castform, especially because we swapped early, and the opponent's going to throw their Weather Ball here. Not going to do too much damage. We are going to be able to put some pressure. The opponent looking to make a switch, and we are going to drop our Toxtricity in on the Azumarill that has dared to come in. Opponent's going for a move here. I'm going to take the opportunity to shield this up and go for a ton of extra energy here. As I know they throw the Ice Beam, they're going to need 5 more bubbles, meaning I can go for 7 more acids to get as much energy as possible. Throw this Wild Charge, destroy the Azumarill, and we're still going to see this Whiscash come in, but I'm throwing this Wild Charge even though it's resisted. It will do a decent amount of damage. The opponent also will get less farm from me. Oh, those mud shots, man. Opponent's going to go for a charge move here. Mud Bomb isn't going to be threatening whatsoever. They need at least, I would say, 3. If not a little bit more. The opponent's coming back in with that Castform. We're going to be able to make it to the Surf to get the knockout on the Castform. And we are just a few hexes away from a Surf and or Shadow Ball. And I'm going to go commit to the Shadow Ball here. I'm not sure if the Surf is enough, and I really don't want to risk the opponent getting to another Mud Bomb because that Surf doesn't knock out. So we're safely able to get to the Shadow Ball and launch it at the opponent's little fish to get it out of the game. Good game. Well played. Toxtricity in the next game, another Dedenne lead. We love to see it. Opponent's going to stay in this time as well, and then they're going to be like, oh no, this was probably not a good idea. And then Gligar safe switch comes in. This one is still running Aerial Ace. You do want to be probably on Fury Cutter now to be able to get that nice added buffed damage to the move there. Fury Cutter is a very good move this season, and Gligar gets to take full advantage of it by just being a dynamic Pokemon now that it has decent energy gains again. Opponent is going to be able to go for another charge move here, but they've shown me Aerial Ace. I doubt they're going to go for anything else at this point. They're going to go for the Dig. Doesn't do as much damage as I thought it would. I'm going to be honest. I thought it would do a little bit more, but that just speaks to the bulk of XL Dusclops. It's not even that much XL. I think it's like level 43 or something. But the opponent is going to come back in with the Dedenne. But we have so much energy from that Gligar matchup that we're going to be able to punish them with not 1, maybe not even 2, maybe 3 Shadow Punches. But we're getting at least 2 off here. The opponent's going to take quite a bit of damage, and they're going to be forced to throw this energy, which is fine. I'm still coming in with my Toxtricity, and I'm going to start just farming this thing. The opponent has no charge moves that threaten me at this point. They have a Clodsire in the back and down a shield. Jellicent will just take this game, and the opponent knows it. It's going to be a good game, well played. Let's cut that out. Anyway, Toxtricity against Drapion. The opponent having the sauce. This whole team is going to have a bad time against Shadow Drapion. We can't really tank crunches this well. This is probably why Toxtricity is not going to be meta, because, man, did that hurt. Now I have to go for the Wild Charge. I have to hope I get the shield advantage I need. Let Dusclops, but the opponent just lets the Drapion, just sacrifices it. And in comes Azumarill, and the opponent has Furret. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I have a double Ghost backline. They're going to ramp up this Furret. If I get lucky and the opponent doesn't shield these Ice Punches, I might have a chance if they try to put their shields into Azumarill. That is my only win condition, because if this Furret shields, it will run all over the rest of my team. So, moment of truth. Are we going to be able to win this game? Ice Punch is going to be the deciding factor here. The opponent shielding, and that's going to be it. Unfortunately, the reason why I quit here, the reason why I quit that game is because if I didn't land that Ice Punch, there was no way that I would ever be able to get the energy that I needed from that farm down and also be able to carry into the Azumarill matchup. I would have been trailblazed at least once or twice, and the Sucker Punches would have done the rest. Jealous, it wouldn't have been able to take a charge move by the time it was done. It just wasn't going to go on. I didn't want to play it out. So just concede, but that's okay. We went 9-1 with our first 2 sets of the season with this team. I don't know how super meta this might actually be better with Dedenne in the lead. Toxtricity is a lot of fun, but it also can't take a hit, whereas Dedenne seems like it would be a better core mate if I plug it in PvPoke. So let me know in the comments what your favorite Pokemon that was buffed this season is. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you as always. Bye-bye.